Manchester United remain in contact with the agent of the player, Jorge Mendes. Manchester United are yet to give up, and so the story is still open. West Ham are waiting. West Ham feel they are in the best position. Who is offering more? They are ready to sell the player. So now depends on the clubs, with Man United and Tottenham in contact with the agent of the player and trying to get Mateus Fernandes, one of the most wanted midfielders in the market now, because both clubs are involved and the race is still open for Mateus Fernandes. And let me finish, guys, with Felix Neta. Many questions. Can Neta go to Manchester United? Guys, at the moment on Neta, what I'm told is that it's about scouting. He's a player that Manchester United have been following for some time. Manchester United have a German director like Christopher Wiewel who knows players in the German league, in the Bundesliga very well. Neta is one of them, but Manchester United at the moment are focused on different priorities, different things, so Neta is not close to joining Manchester United today.
Hi United fans, stay tuned because today's transfer update could have a huge impact on Manchester United's plans for the season ahead. There is plenty to discuss, from exciting midfield targets to a possible blockbuster move for one of Europe's most dangerous forwards. Reports from several respected journalists suggest that the recruitment department is working tirelessly behind the scenes as the club continues building a squad capable of challenging for the biggest honours. According to Patrick Berger, Borussia Dortmund midfielder Felix Neta has now emerged as one of Manchester United's leading midfield targets, with recruitment chief Christopher Wiewel maintaining direct contact with the players' representatives. That immediately tells supporters this is not simply another rumour circulating on social media. When senior recruitment figures are directly involved, it usually means the player is being seriously evaluated. Neta has continued to develop into a composed, athletic and technically gifted midfielder, capable of controlling possession while also driving forward with confidence. He combines physicality with intelligence, qualities that Premier League supporters admire enormously. Even more interesting is the fact that Manchester City, Liverpool and Real Madrid are also monitoring the German international. Let that sink in. When clubs of that caliber are all looking at the same player, it usually highlights exceptional quality. However, reports also state that Neta is perfectly happy at Borussia Dortmund and remains fully focused on the World Cup, meaning United would need an outstanding sporting project to convince him. Personally, I believe Neta possesses the balance, composure and tactical discipline that could fit brilliantly into Manchester United's midfield. He isn't necessarily the biggest headline maker, but sometimes those intelligent signings become the backbone of successful teams. Could Felix Neta become United's next midfield general? Would you welcome him at Old Trafford despite competition from Europe's biggest clubs? Meanwhile, another exciting update concerns Christian Orozco. Reports suggest the talented youngster will travel to Manchester this Sunday, alongside Manchester United's chief scout, Giuseppe Antonaccio, to complete his medical before being officially announced as a new signing. This represents another example of United investing in future talent, while also strengthening the academy pathway. The club has increasingly recognised the importance of identifying elite young footballers before their market value explodes. Supporters have witnessed how intelligent recruitment at youth level can eventually produce first-team stars capable of representing the badge with pride. Could Orozco become another exciting talent who eventually shines under the lights at Old Trafford? Every successful club needs both world-class established stars and hungry young players desperate to prove themselves. One of the biggest talking points involves Aurelien Tchouameni. Fresh reports indicate that Manchester United would have absolutely no problem matching the midfielder's wage demands and would even be prepared to make him one of the club's highest earners. Personal terms are reportedly not expected to become an obstacle if negotiations ever reach that stage. Yes, you heard that right. Financially, Manchester United appear prepared to make a serious statement should an opportunity arise. The biggest challenge remains convincing Real Madrid to negotiate. In my opinion, Tchouameni represents one of the complete defensive midfielders in world football. His positioning, recovery pace, passing range, and ability to dominate midfield battles would instantly improve United's spine. Every title-winning side requires a midfielder capable of protecting the defence while allowing attacking players to flourish. Tchouameni fits that description perfectly. The question remains whether Real Madrid would ever consider letting such an important player leave. If the opportunity somehow becomes available, should Manchester United go all in? Away from Old Trafford, Mason Greenwood's future appears to be taking another interesting turn. Reports suggest Fenerbahce have already agreed personal terms with the forward and are preparing a package worth around £30 million plus additional bonuses. However, Marseille continue to stand firm, demanding approximately €50 million plus bonuses and refusing to reduce their valuation. One important factor behind that stance is Manchester United's 40% sell-on clause, meaning the Red Devils would benefit financially from any major transfer. This could provide United with additional resources to reinvest elsewhere during the transfer window. Could Greenwood's eventual sale indirectly help finance another marquee signing for Manchester United? Perhaps the most eye-catching rumour of the day comes from reports claiming Manchester United have entered the race for Atletico Madrid striker Julian Alvarez after making direct contact with the player's representatives. Barcelona, Arsenal and Paris Saint-Germain are also reportedly monitoring the Argentine World Cup winner, making this one of the biggest transfer battles of the summer. Make no mistake, this is huge. Alvarez has consistently demonstrated outstanding movement, relentless pressing, intelligent link-up play, and clinical finishing against Europe's very best opposition. He possesses the mentality required to thrive under pressure and never hides during the biggest occasions. Manchester United's return to the Champions League and renewed financial strength reportedly place the club firmly in contention. Personally, I believe Alvarez would electrify Old Trafford. His work rate perfectly matches what supporters expect from a Manchester United centre-forward. Imagine Alvarez leading the line in front of a roaring Stretford end, pressing defenders relentlessly before producing moments of pure brilliance. That would undoubtedly excite supporters across England. But here's the big question. If United had to choose between signing Julian Alvarez or another elite striker, who would receive your vote? Midfield remains one of Manchester United's biggest priorities this summer, and according to Ben Jacobs, Matheus Fernandes continues to sit at the very top of the club's shortlist. Negotiations, however, remain extremely challenging because West Ham reportedly value the midfielder at between £80 million and £85 million. That is an enormous valuation, especially in a market where financial fair play continues influencing every major decision. Nevertheless, United have not abandoned hope and continue exploring every possible avenue. At the same time, alternative options including Fulham's Sander Berge and Brighton's Carlos Balaba remain under consideration. This demonstrates intelligent planning by the recruitment department. Elite clubs must always prepare alternative solutions rather than depending on one single target. In my opinion, Matheus Fernandes has the technical quality, composure, and progressive passing to become a cornerstone of Manchester United's midfield for years to come. However, the asking price must also represent value. Would you pay more than £80 million for Matheus Fernandes, or should United invest elsewhere? Carlos Balaba is another fascinating name attracting significant attention. Reports indicate Manchester United could accelerate interest if Manuel Ugarte leaves Old Trafford during the current transfer window. Brighton reportedly value the powerful Cameroon international at approximately £80 million, reflecting both his immense potential and Brighton's reputation for negotiating strongly. Balaba has already shown remarkable energy, physical strength and confidence on the ball despite his young age. He covers huge distances, breaks opposition attacks, and drives forward fearlessly. However, there is another important point worth discussing. If Manchester United somehow completed deals for Balaba, Ederson and Matheus Fernandes during the same transfer window, midfield spending alone could approach an astonishing £200 million. Unbelievable, but true. That would represent one of the biggest midfield rebuilds in modern Premier League history. Personally, while all three players possess outstanding qualities, I believe balance is essential. Rather than signing multiple expensive midfielders, United should ensure every addition perfectly complements the existing squad and addresses specific tactical needs. Overall, today's updates paint the picture of an ambitious Manchester United determined to compete with Europe's elite once again. The club continues exploring experienced world-class players, emerging young stars, and exciting long-term prospects simultaneously. That balanced recruitment strategy could prove vital as United prepare for another demanding campaign in both domestic and European competitions. Of course, many of these negotiations remain complicated, and until official announcements arrive, supporters should remain patient while following developments from trusted sources. Nevertheless, there is genuine excitement surrounding Old Trafford once again, and the coming weeks promise plenty more twists and turns. Now it's over to you, Reds. Which signing excites you the most? Felix Neta, Aurelien Tchouameni, Matheus Fernandes, Carlos Balaba, or the sensational Julian Alvarez? And if you were sitting in the recruitment department today, which deal would you complete first? Let us know your thoughts.